Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you guys are. Welcome to another edition of the Swing Trading Newsletter. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done the newsletter, mainly because the market's just been, insane recently. Been consolidating. Finally got out of the consolidation. It's been moving up, grinding higher, so to speak, but still been grinding higher in a really weird fashion. So taking a look at the Qs, boy oh boy, what a trend. What a trend in the Qs all the way from 2016. I mean, we've basically just been going up, consolidating, going up, consolidating, and now we're going up again. So this is the third leg up. Usually market moves in phases and waves and legs. We get one leg up, consolidation, two leg up, consolidation, we get three legs up, and usually after the third leg is where the decline starts coming in. We get three legs up, right? And then the market starts to do like a couple legs down, and then it might resume higher, right? But market might do a couple legs down and then might resume higher. So this is the third leg up. Question is, how far is this third leg going to go? And that is the big question here. Which way does it go? Because you can see here in the markets, if you start from here, you get a one leg up, pull back, two leg up, pull back, three leg up, and then we have this little sell-off, right? Couple waves of choppy action, resumed it again, one leg up, pull back, two leg up. So on the weekly chart, we're also on our third leg up. So this is going to be interesting to see which way the market wants to go. Looking at the daily chart, however, man, this market's been really hard to trade and really not an easy market to trade. This has been one of the toughest markets I've personally seen, as a trader, because look at this big red outside bar, right? And then you get this little green bar. So you would think, 3-bar play, market's going to go down. And that's what I was thinking as well. And market did go down, but the gap down ended up getting bought. And we basically just exploded higher. Then we had this little failed breakout here, break below the candle, looked like this is going to be a double top, we're going to come in. And we did start selling off exactly as expected, but then that sell-off didn't hold. We went straight up again. So the market's definitely been one of the trickier markets to trade. We're looking at the monthly chart, we're just up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 month in a row. Looking at the weekly chart also, we've just been straight up. So the problem with this type of extension is that the market is extended, which makes me cautious on the long side, right? But at the same time, shorts, as we can see, have not been working out. Market just super strong. And a lot of the stocks that I'm looking at, the charts also look like they want to go higher. So definitely one of the tricky markets to trade. I've been pretty much on the sidelines. I haven't been swing trading a whole lot. But I think I'm just going to stick with the stocks and see how they perform and start maybe getting in some positions as the market continues to remain strong despite the geopolitical news that's been going on. So that's the Qs. Taking a look at the spiders, again, a totally different picture than the Qs. Spiders, on the other hand, again, went up, consolidation, went up, consolidation. So it could be a start of another leg higher here. We did break out of this little, choppy pattern. So the market on the spiders do look higher. Potentially a pullback, here. And then perhaps we're going to continue higher as far as the spiders are concerned. Similar picture on the Dow Jones here. Let me go ahead and remove those lines. This was a really disappointing trade because I had shorted the Dow Jones right over here. And we got off to a great start. We were, up nicely on this trade. We shorted this at, $205 or sorry, $206 actually we shorted it. And it dropped really nicely to 204. We were up pretty good on this trade, but then the market just out of nowhere comes this rally and takes us out for a small loss. But even then, look at the Dow Jones. As we look at it, what we see is this was a little downtrend line, which we have now broken, and we're continuing higher. We're right into this resistance area. That's where we had a little pullback on Friday, and potentially you could pull back here. But at the same time, this is a little base that could continue to go to new highs. We look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart, in fact, does look pretty bullish. We have this little buy setup flag break, and now we're going higher. So really interesting things to see here. Even on the monthly chart, even though the market is extended, it looks like it wants to continue to go higher. So we're going to keep an eye on it. I do like the market short, but it's a really tough trade. If you do want to short it, you could definitely do this under here. Place your stop loss somewhere up in here and see if you can get a gap fill on the market and potentially even more in this area. But going to be a hard one to trade on the market here. I do have some trades that I do want to get in. They're all on the long side. So let's start with the H&R block first, HRB. So HRB, the reason I like it is, last couple of days the market's been red and been weak, whereas this H&R block actually had a pretty nice strong update. So what that signifies is that relative strength to the market. And also I like the fact that it had really nice volume the last couple of days on this advance. And then this is the daily chart. When I go to the weekly chart, we see that what we have here is H&R block had a pretty good sell-off in this area on the H&R block. We had a pretty nice sell-off, but then what we had here is a little double bottom, and we've started to form this base. We pull back here, a little higher low, and now H&R block looks like it wants to go higher, perhaps back into these resistance levels around 27, 28. So that's definitely possible. Even if you look at the monthly chart, we see here's a nice decline into support, a little double bottom, and looking to go higher, at least back until to this 26, 27 area. So that's one trade that I want to take it long on Monday. Another one is HUM. So again, nice strong daily chart. So notice the theme here. As the market closed red on Friday, I'm looking for stocks that were green on Friday, which again signifies relative strength. When I go to the monthly chart of HUM, I do like the monthly chart quite a bit. Nice little base here. It had a strong move, pull back, found support, another strong move, pull back, higher low, and now this looks like it wants to go higher. So I want to keep an eye on H&R block as well for a long trade. Again, all these numbers for the trades will be in the newsletter. Another trade I want to take is the UA, the Under Armour. I've been trying to trade it for the past couple of days. Hasn't got the bounce that I was looking for. It gapped up on Thursday, inside bar on Friday, right into this resistance level. So I want to buy it over long above this red bar, put my stop around the green bar, and then maybe look for it to come back, rally into the gap fill area. So UA is another trade I will be taking on the long side. And another long trade I have here is the GT, the Goodyear tire. Again, notice the theme. Market was red for Friday. The stock closed green, relative strength. Let's take a look at the weekly chart. What we see on the weekly chart is similar situation. It's a nice little base, right? Nice little base. It broke out, now forming another little base here. And I think this one looks ready to perhaps continue to go higher. So I want to play along on the GT. Also, another thing I like on the monthly chart of GT is that notice how it's coming right into these prior pivot high, right? And if it triggers, if it breaks out, you could definitely easily see a move higher on the GT. Thus, the reason for a potential long trade on the GT. Okay, so those are the trades I'm looking at. But there is one trade I want to do on the short side, which is the United Airlines. The reason for United Airlines short is pretty simple. Number one, the monthly chart is back into this pivot high, so sort of a potential double top. And when we look at the weekly chart, what we see on the weekly chart is that this was a little trend line on the UA, right? On the weekly chart, the trend line has broken. It retested the trend line, and now looking like it perhaps wants to fail and make a lower high back down. That's what I'm looking at. And when I go to the daily, we see this little bear flag. So under this bottoming tail is where I would like to short. Under the low of Thursday is what I want to short. Put my stop loss right above there, and then look for a move down into the support area that is on UA. And the support area on UA is right around here. So potentially a move back down into this support area is what I'm going to look for. So one short and a few longs on the market, but I'm keenly watching the VIX ETF. We did make some money on it on the last trade. We called in the newsletter. We got our target one here, and then the second one trailed out. So we did make a little bit of money on it, but not a whole lot. So VIX I'm watching again, potentially long above there, stop loss somewhere down in there, and maybe going to fill the gap in this area. So definitely VIX is the trade I am watching. Another trade I'm watching obviously is the market short on the Dow or the spiders. Both look similar. But what I like is the short under this green bar and look for maybe gap fill or perhaps even lower prices. Taking a look at oil, USO. I mean, USO has pretty much done exactly what we've been talking about in the last few editions of the newsletter. I was talking about this little trend line coming down in here on the USO oil ETF, how it's been in this little pattern and look what happened. It broke the pattern, retested, failed right into the trend line, and now looking like it wants to perhaps go lower. Issue with shorting it now, however, is that it is down to support, so this is an area where it could start to perhaps bounce higher. Now, I'm not interested in shorting oil. I don't want to short oil, even though the technicals do look weak. What I am interested in to see if it's going to bounce here, and if it can get above $12, it could be a long-term trade. But if it doesn't get there, then we don't trade it. Looking at gold, similar situation going on with gold here. Gold had this little downtrend line right there, which it recently broke and is now pulling back into the trend line. So if you do want to play long gold, this is an area where it could perhaps bounce higher. But the tough part with this one is, this is kind of like one leg, two leg, three leg up, right? So three legs up could also signify a move back down into this area. So gold is a tough trade at the moment. If you do want to play it long, that's another possibility that you could do. And if you want to short it, that's another possibility. So many things can happen with gold here as it moves in this channel. Silver looking the same thing, but a little bit weaker than gold. Silver actually, silver did, it broke this downtrend line right here, but couldn't hold it, so pulled all the way back down. So again, one leg, two legs, and had a three leg up on the silver, double topped into this area, and now pulling back right into the trend line. So again, another spot where silver could perhaps bounce higher here, right? But the fact that it formed a double top, doesn't give too much confidence to the longs, as it could easily pull right back down as well. So gold, silver, both tough trades at this point. I wouldn't do anything with those. US dollar actually looks like a bounce spot here. You see this little channel type pattern going on the UUP ETF for the US dollar. So the US dollar actually looks like this is a position that it's going to go higher, right? And if that is the case, what that basically means is if the US dollar goes higher, we all know what's going to happen, right? That means gold's going to go lower, silver is going to go lower. So to me, US dollar does look like it wants to go higher at this point in time. We can probably get a better idea of that on the weekly chart. So on the weekly chart, what we see here is, this was our initial pattern we were talking about on the weekly. It broke it. Right after breaking it, now it's forming another type of similar pattern. So this could another spot where it could continue higher on the US dollar. Taking a look at the Russell IWM. IWM is again a really tricky play because at one point it looks like a nice little breakout that is just pulling back to the breakout level to go higher, right? But on the other hand, what it looks like also is a failed breakout, and now it's pulling back down here again. So another thing to keep an eye on the IWM. Okay. Looking at the bonds via the TLT, TLT are actually getting interesting potential trade setting up here. So in the TLT bonds, what we see here is that, it pulled back right into this support level, right? And in that support level, we bounced from the support level, but we also got a retest of that support level, and that held too, right? And now it's pulling back. So what I like to see is if TLT can get back above this base, I think this is another potential trade setting up back into $129 to $130 on the TLT. So might be a trade on this one next week. Right now I'm just watching it. I want to see this get above like $124 on the TLT. If it can get above 124, I think it's a good trade back to 130 or this gap fill right here on the bond. So definitely keep an eye on it. And on that note, if there are any questions at all from you guys, let me know. I'd be happy to go over that. Again, as I stated earlier, the newsletter, is basically going to be sent out when I see a trade, when I'm taking a new trade, when there's something new development in the market. That's when I will be doing the newsletter and sending out these videos. However, the newsletter is still active. Throughout the week, you will receive trades from me. So basically, how it works is if I do take any trade in my own account, I'll sure to email it out to you guys in a newsletter. And when there's some nice trades coming up over the weekend, then I'll do a video on it and send it in a newsletter format. And as always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything else you want to go over, or anything you want me to take a look at or cover in the next edition of newsletter, always feel free to email it out to me, because once you send me those questions or comments, I'll definitely do another video on it. So the video will be done when I have enough questions or anything of significance to take a look at. All right. So take care, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next edition of the newsletter. There are some trades in this one, so make sure you read the newsletter clearly, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.